Hi everyone, I'm Danny Tan from pautan.org and we are here in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah to test drive the new Triton, both in automatic and manual transmissions. So let's start with the biggest change. You won't be mistaking this new 2019 Triton for the previous one because it comes with an all-new face. Mitsubishi's dynamic shield design language is used here and it's really bold and in your face. The dynamic shield face is characterized by LED headlamps that are really slim on top and big fog lamps and signal lamp clusters below that. And the face is squared off at the end for a really wide and fierce looking face. Moving on to the sides, we can see that bold and squared off face is matched by squared off fenders. Round the back, we can see that the most prominent element are these LED signature tail lamps that form something like a question mark. However, we are not so sure about this chrome letterbox trim above the logo, as it seems like an afterthought. Moving inside is not as bold as the exterior, and it's a rather safe and conservative design, but Mitsubishi has slight changes to the center console and there's a slight rearrangement of buttons below the aircon panel. You can also find soft touch materials on the parts where your knee touches the center console, as well as on the center box between the seats. The new Triton is now the most comfortable truck in its class for rear passengers. Not only is there a lot of space, but there's a new air circulator function with vents on the roof, as well as its own control panel. There's also a new USB port and a phone tray beside it. Now that you've seen the new Triton's fresh design and know what it's all about, let's go for a drive. But not just any on-road drive, but we're going off-road around KK's trails. It's a rainy day here in KK Sabah and we are now starting off with the manual version of the new Triton. This is a 6-speed manual of the premium version. There's also an 80 version of this premium spec. Both this manual and the premium 80 shares the same 2.4 litre MyVac turbo diesel engine as the top spec Adventure X. I'm a manual kind of guy, but feels like a lot of work, this manual Triton. The shift is it's okay, but it's probably not as slick as found in some other manual trucks. Clutch is light, it's quite easy, but the shift itself is not the slickest, and I prefer the automatic actually. The Triton has always been one of the better trucks to drive in terms of dynamics, and this new one follows form. It feels light and agile. The steering is easy. The suspension is quite on the firm side and feels very buttoned down. According to Mitsubishi, the Triton's steering has a very tight turning radius of 5.9 meters, and that is something that drivers will appreciate daily. Okay, we are now in the Triton Adventure X. This is the top spec model and one rank above the premium spec manual that we tried just now. In front of me, you can find Mitsubishi's signature column-mounted shift pedals, and down here, where the 4-wheel drive Super Select knob is, you can find a new extra function, which is the 4LLC mode, as well as hill descent control, and this new off-road mode. The off-road mode has sand, mud, gravel, and rock modes, where the car utilizes the ESC transmission as well as throttle for one-touch convenience when we go off-road. This is a bit like Land Rover's terrain response system. It's a useful function for a truck. As for the 2.4 litre MyVac turbo diesel, it has 181 PS of power and 413 Newton meters of torque. And while not spectacular these days, it's perfectly adequate for the job. But what we like the most about this power plant is that it's smooth revving and relatively refined. For a truck, we are reasonably well insulated from engine, wind and outside noise, and that makes the Triton a rather good long distance cruiser. The addition of a new 6-speed gearbox is welcome. One extra ratio is always good when it comes to cruising, we can cruise at the lower RPM. That also helps with the NVH, which on the Triton is very decent as well for a truck. On the move, the Triton has always been one of the more agile and car-like trucks to drive around, and this one is no different. Ride comfort is not bad as well. It's never too soft and floaty, even at high speeds on the highway. There you have it, the drive of the new Mitsubishi Triton. Still one of the better trucks to drive in its class, and it's for passenger comfort, it's one of the better ones as well. Not just a facelift, there's a lot of technical improvements such as the new 6-speed auto, the super select 4-wheel drive system, and some interior improvements. But the main story is how it now looks. But with this bold new dynamic shield face, the Mitsubishi Triton is back in contention for your attention.